2021 Mazda MX-5 RF hardtop convertible with the club package. This is the absolute hottest car you can buy for around 40K. Let's get into it. There are very few cars that I review on the channel that just light me up like a Christmas tree. The MX-5 is one of them, and the Lexus LC500 is another vehicle that just brings me so much joy and happiness. Not only looking at the vehicle, but driving the vehicle, spending time with the vehicle. And the RF of the MX-5 is just an absolute gorgeous showpiece. I got stopped by two old ladies this week in traffic saying they want to buy this for their granddaughter. I don't know why they wouldn't want it themselves. Maybe it's too youthful for them. That could be. But this vehicle is just drop dead gorgeous with the hardtop. So getting into the looks a little bit more in depth, the RF, the hardtop, only comes in two different trim levels, and that's Grand Touring, which I reviewed last year, and this one's a club package. And the club, in my opinion, is the way to go if you're into the looks of it. Now, this also has the upgraded BBS wheels, the BREMBO brakes, the RECARO seats, and also like the Aero kit, which makes this vehicle just look so sick. No other vehicle is gonna look as good as this vehicle, in my opinion, for the money. And no other vehicle for around 40K is gonna bring as many smiles to your face as well. And the MX-5 is just such a unique vehicle. The sales continue to do well, even though it's a strange year for sales because of the supply chain issues. But the MX-5 was unfazed during 2020, the year of COVID, and it's pretty much unfazed this year, the year of supply chain issues. And just cruising here at the beach, it says I'm getting 84 miles per gallon, going about 30 miles per hour in sixth gear. This vehicle is really good with efficiency, with the small 2-liter, 181 horsepower, 151 pound-feet torque. We'll talk more about the performance later, but yeah, I'm getting ridiculous fuel economy at low city speeds. Now, when you push it, you're gonna probably get in the mid-20s, which worst case scenario, you're getting mid-20s fuel economy for absolute just enjoyment in terms of performance and oneness with the car. And if you haven't seen my video with the ragtop version of this car, about 6 months ago when I first moved back to Naples, make sure to check that review out because the MX-5 is such a special vehicle, and the ragtop is more of its true nature. This being, the hardtop being more of a look at me, look how hot I am sort of vehicle, where the drop top doesn't have the same sort of curb appeal as this, but it gives you more visibility. It's about 100 pounds lighter than this vehicle, which to me, to have such good looks for only 100 pounds more, I know it's going to cost a little bit more than the ragtop, but man, to me it's totally worth it because no other car looks like this for the price. And really, what other cars look like this regardless of price? Now, this upgraded club package with the RECARO seats, unfortunately, they're not as comfortable as the Napa leather Grand Touring seats, which makes sense. These are definitely more for performance, but the bolstering on my legs is just way too over bolstered. It feels like my left leg is always uncomfortable in this vehicle unless I'm like cruising in sixth gear and I can just prop up my leg like this. This is really the only comfortable place for my leg to be other than the clutch, because it's happy on the clutch too. All right, so the RF, like I said, weighs just a hair more than the drop top. It's going to cost a little bit more because you can only get it in the top trims. You can't get it in the sport trim, for example. And the blind spots are noticeably bad in it, like all the way around. The good thing is you can kind of stick your head out the window like Ace Ventura style to get a better view. But yeah, you do have to deal with crappy blind spots. Luckily, blind spot monitor is standard on this vehicle, so that's not an issue. And also new for 2021, we have a couple things. Standard wireless Apple CarPlay, which I'm not an Apple user, so it does nothing for me. We have a new white Napa leather, I believe, as well as a new blue color on the outside. And speaking of the colors, like this gray color, it looks cool, don't get me wrong, but I'd be getting the Soul Red. And it's unfortunate there aren't more fun colors for the Mazda MX-5. The Soul Red is the funnest color you can get. You can get a dark blue, but there's no yellow, there's no bright blues out there, no oranges. They had that special edition orange a few years back, but nothing nearly as inspiring since then. So that's definitely a disappointment that Mazda hasn't given us more fun colors for this ultimately fun vehicle. Now this club package has Bilstein shocks and a sport tuned suspension, which make it pretty fun, but let's just roll through the gears, which you can just pedal to the metal this vehicle anywhere you want to, and you're not going to get yourself into too much trouble unless you're just doing something idiotic. But you can floor this vehicle whenever you want and have an absolute ball, because 181 horsepower, while it is pretty meager, it is only a 2,500 pound vehicle. But the fact that you have a perfect manual transmission in this vehicle, and you can ring out every single gear, just staying up with, like, keeping up with traffic, and literally sitting on the ground is just a unique experience, and it's something only Mazda really can stake a claim to. This is the perfect sports car. It is not the fastest sports car. It is not the highest performance sports car, even though it has its own racing league built around the MX-5, but it is the most joy-inspired vehicle. And you can also do, like, rev matching your downshifts is pretty easy as well. Real quick blips of the throttle. And it's like, I don't know if I'm just getting better with manuals, but it's literally the easiest rev matching downshifts I've ever done on any vehicle. And getting into the brakes hard here. The brakes are A+, out of this world. Really happy with the brake feel and the progression of the pedal. Mazda has typically had really good brake pedals and brake feels, and of course it's kind of like perfected here in the MX-5. Now the shifter is always in the perfect spot. That's something I've had an issue with other manual transmissions. Either it's too far forward or my elbow just never sits comfortably. That's not an issue here. It's a perfect relationship with my hand and the shifter and the armrest. The steering wheel is pretty small, but it's acceptable in a vehicle this small. And the leather's really sticky on the steering wheel. So sometimes with leather steering wheels, they're a little bit too soft and you don't have good traction on here. My hands always feel like they're glued to this small but perfect steering wheel otherwise. Now we're on our way to actually get me some new shoes. I'm gonna head up to the outlet mall. It's about, I don't know, a 25-minute drive on the highway or so. So that's going to give us a good idea of highway combined fuel economy as well, because I've been driving this only in town, so it's going to be fun to take this on the interstate here and get an idea of what it's like in terms of fuel economy over a longer and steady state on the interstate. Just doing some fun downshifts into fourth now. Now I'm stuck between a Santa Fe here and a Pacifica. Now we're up to speed, and it's of course super loud in here. You're not going to be able to hold conversations in this vehicle with the top down on the highway. So most of you will probably have the top up while you're driving at high speeds. Made it to the mall, time to find some kicks. Okay, so we got to the outlet mall. It doesn't open for another 20-30 minutes or so. So we're gonna finish up the review and I'll show you what shoes I get later. But anyways, I just wanna drive the car. I don't wanna stand around and twiddle my thumbs outside the store. So we're gonna get back in the RF. This time I have the top up, if you couldn't tell, and it doesn't take too long to put it up. It's pretty quick. I'll put exactly how long it took in my testing to put the top up and down. We're going about 70 miles an hour on the interstate. I was getting like 40 miles per gallon. If you go like 75, it goes down to low 30. So the sweet spot is gonna be like around 70 miles an hour to get maximum fuel economy and to get places in a speedy amount of time. All right, let's get around this Odyssey here. And I'm just pedal to the metal. Like, I was barely keeping up with this Ultima here, but that's perfectly fine. I'm having so much fun wringing this thing out to its limits, this little 2-liter with 181 horsepower. Now there's a car in front of me that I could absolutely dust if I wanted to. That's a 3-cylinder Mirage in front of me. So this thing is a hypercar compared to that. The car I had for review just prior to this was the 2021 GR Supra 3.0. Absolute rocket ship. That vehicle, no matter how fast it is, 4 seconds 0 to 60, doesn't make me as happy as this vehicle. And that vehicle is gonna cost, I don't know, 15 grand more than this. And I like the looks of this better. I like how this drives better. I like the 6-speed manual. I like that I can take the top down. Well, kind of in this RF, but it's almost like a Targa. The only thing the Supra had over this was straight line performance. But like I said, that acceleration doesn't make me happy like this does, where I can just push this thing to the absolute limits. I almost killed it there. Oh. It's just so good. It's so good. This is the perfect formula. Mazda has had this market to itself for so long, and there's nothing that compares it, with it. I bring up the Supra because that's the last car I drove. The new Z coming out will be about 40K like this vehicle and have, I don't know, over double the horsepower at 400 horsepower. It doesn't even have 200 horsepower. Now that vehicle's gonna have a 6-speed manual, but the fact is, I still don't know if that vehicle would make me as happy to drive as this vehicle, especially the fact that I can take the top down on it and just go hog wild. And those two vehicles, the Z and the Supra, both of them around 400 horse, you get it, if you're pushing it pedal to the metal in 2nd gear, you're already breaking most speed limits. So this vehicle, I'm keeping up with the Escape right now, flooring it, and I'm not gonna have the danger of rear-ending it. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the Mazda infotainment, the dial. Luckily there's Android Auto in here, which of course I'm not using right now. Now this is gonna be kind of a real-life 0 to 60 here. There is some traffic coming. I'm not in a straightaway. I'm gonna be turning left a little bit. I'm not gonna drop the clutch too much, but I need to get into traffic now. It was 67.21, and it's just so much fun. I don't know what else to say. It's not that fast, but it feels fast. The sound of the engine, the stopping and the starting of the 6-speed manual as you're shifting gears, and just the quickness and satisfying nature of this 6-speed is just, it goes so perfectly wherever you put it. And when you want to do rev matching downshifts, it's super easy to do that too. There's 5th, there's 4th. We'll get to 3rd and 2nd here in a little bit. Here's 3rd and 2nd, just perfect. Now, I'm not an expert at heel towing. I'm not gonna even pretend that I am. Could you do it in this vehicle? Yeah, you probably could, as I'm playing with the gas and the brake pedal, but I'm not going to be doing that. I enjoy doing my slow rev matching downshifts without maximum braking at the same time. To me, that's perfectly fine. It's still satisfying. But by the time we get back to the mall, the store will be open to pick up some shoes. I'm hoping they have some shoes. I have some Ralph Laurens that my wife bought me a few years ago. I'm not sponsored by Ralph Lauren, but if you're listening, that would be okay. I need to get some new ones because they're getting a little tattered and torn, but yeah, I'm literally floored right now. You just bang through the gears, you get to 4th gear, maxing out each gear, and you're only going 60. Like, it's just so fun. You can push this vehicle to the limits, not get it into trouble, and have the biggest smile on your face like the Joker and not get into trouble. Well, yeah, unless you're doing stuff like the Joker. Now, it's Florida, so there's not a lot of turns. Most everything is just straight line as far as the eye can see. So there's not a lot of places for me to test out the handling capabilities of this vehicle. Just know that it's eager to turn in. There's significant body roll in the vehicle. Even though it has the upgraded Bilstein's shocks, you still feel like it's leaning over in the turns. It doesn't mean it's like not as fun as something like the new GR86, which feels super planted in the turns. This does too, but it has a little bit more character. You have a little bit more falling effect as you go into the turns. And it's not as reassuring as I would say as something like the new GR86 and the new BRZ. The handling on those vehicles is incredible for the vehicle that it is. Now you'll be able to get into this RF if you don't want like the RECARO seats, the BREMBO brakes, the BBS wheels. You'll be able to get into this vehicle for probably the mid-30s, but to me, getting that extra performance package is totally worth it and something that's going to make you happy, not only when you're looking into the vehicle, but looking at the vehicle from the outside. The additional aero kit's just so beautiful. And then every time when I look at this vehicle sitting in my garage, it brings a huge smile to my face, just as it does when I'm banging through the gears, just keeping up with traffic. And despite all that, I'm at 28 miles per gallon, and that's gonna go up because I have a 20-minute, 30-minute ride home or so where it's mostly highway driving. And I go back and forth. Would I get the soft top or would I get the hard top? And I mean, the hard top just looks so sick that I probably would be going this route. But if I found a really good deal, which there's not a lot of good deals in the days of supply chain shortage, if I found a good deal on a soft top, maybe that would persuade me. And the ease of just taking that top down takes like 2 seconds to put up and down. It's really incredible, the soft top, and both of them are perfect vehicles for what they are. This one has a little bit more character, a little bit more unique looks, more blind spots. It's a little bit heavier, but that's okay. I'm not racing this thing. After more than 30 years of this vehicle being on the market, it's still unrivaled in terms of look, driving mechanics, and just fun. But we're back at the mall, and I need to find some shoes. Here's the shoes. It took me a while because I'm a picky shoe buyer. I don't buy shoes often, but they have to be pretty good. I settled on these. This was my first choice. Johnston & Murphy's. I really like these gray shoes. I have gray shoes. Gray goes with everything, and it's not like gothic like I used to be in middle school and high school with always black shoes. Black goes with everything too, but this is a little bit more happy, a little bit more attractive in my opinion. And now my gray years as I'm starting to gray. Anyways, this MX-5, is it starting to gray after 30 years on the market? Absolutely not. It's better than ever. It's more special than ever as everything goes more detached, more electric, more computerized. And I just feel at one with this vehicle, the 6-speed manual, the clutch, the gear shifter, the engine, the handling, taking the top down, feeling a little bit at one with nature at the same time. I don't know what's beeping. And the more time I spend on this interior, the more I enjoy it, with the paint matched door sills or window sills on the doors, the stitching on the doors as well as the dash, the glossy black plastic, which is not everyone's favorite, but it looks really good around the black vents in here. And outside of that, and the cup holders, which are, the one here is always in a weird spot. The one up here is the best one that you can put up by the passenger. I picked up some coffee for my wife this morning. Anyways, one of my favorite cars ever, arguably the best looking car on the market, and arguably the most fun car on the market as well. It'll continue to sell really, really well despite everything going more electric. And I don't want to think of what this vehicle could be in the future as things go to hybrids and fully electric, but in the meantime I'm going to enjoy rowing my own gears, listening to the engine scream, having a clutch to play with my left foot. Anyways guys, I'm going to end it there. Signing off for one of my favorite vehicles ever, the MX-5 Club with the hardtop convertible. Oh, it's just so sexy. Anyways guys, I'll catch you in the next video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe for more Mazda news and reviews like this. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.